Hello, everybody. My name is Kenton Young, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Dylan Fairman.
Yeah.
And this is a Patreon-exclusive episode of Unsolved Canadian Mysteries.
Mysteries.
So, Dylan, how you been?
I'm well, Kenton.
I haven't seen you since last year.
Yes.
Because we did... When did we do the serial killer one? That was just after Christmas, because you were in your Santa outfit.
Yeah. I was in my Santa outfit.
It was, I think, a bit of miscommunication.
Santa Claus.
Because I wasn't dressed up and you were that time.
It's okay. It was no communication. I just showed up and dressed as Santa.
Oh, that was great. It looked awesome.
Thank you.
And we haven't got much feedback on that one because we just put it out last week. But
Right.
because I didn't know you had pushed it already.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it was already done, and then it was just sitting there, and then Kenton was probably thinking, like, "Geez, when's Dylan gonna finish that podcast?" And he was like, "Oh, it's been done."
Oh, he's such a busy guy. I don't want to ask him about it. It's sitting there waiting for me to hit publish. I felt so bad. It was good. It was a good one.
Yes, it was.
But we got comments not on that one, but about another episode.
Yeah.
A Patreon exclusive one, so we can kind of like talk about it.
Which one?
So it was a Halloween special.
Oh, with Christina.
Yes. And I covered two stories in that one. The first one I covered was the Tommy Knock story.
Yeah.
Tommy Knockers. And the second one was about Davy Mercer.
Okay. Yeah.
And I actually had covered that on my blog months before, but I thought it was a good Halloween story, so I kind of did it for the podcast too. So someone reached out to us and said, "Hey, you did a good job covering the Davy Mercer story, but you got a couple things wrong."
Kenton.
It turns out the person who reached out to me was Davy Mercer's niece.
Oh.
And she said, we were pretty accurate on everything, but the things we didn't get right were omissions we hadn't included. One was, for those who are unfamiliar with that episode, Davy Mercer was a boy who lived on Bell Island. I think it was around 1920s. He went into the woods with his friends, and then they heard some kind of giggling from the trees, and they left. And Davy Mercer never came back. He came back 2 weeks later, something like that, and he wasn't the same.
Right, the fairies, the possible fairy stuff.
Fairy abduction, and he came back half fairy or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
So, Davy Mercer's niece said to me when he came back, one of the things that was different with him was his legs were shorter.
Okay.
So, like a big physical difference.
Okay.
And that he was missing an eye.
Oh.
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think that would be like well documented?
Yeah. And like, someone could message me and just say this shit, right? Like,
right.
Then she provided pictures of him.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's one thing. It's one thing to have a story and to have a headstone, right? But you can make up a story about anyone in a headstone.
Yeah.
But then to have a picture of the guy.
Yeah.
And to say like, Uncle Davy was doing this, was doing that, and this is how Uncle Davy died.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wow. Like, this is a well-known fairy abduction story within their own family. It's not just an internet legend.
This just in.
So I thought I had to give that update. Even if only our select people will hear it. I was like, that's a cool thing. I want to tell Dylan about that.
I think there was another correction, too, about the last one with the Justin Bieber thing. Someone commented that that's not where Justin Bieber's from. Or something like that.
I didn't see the comment, maybe.
I honestly don't remember. We'll talk about it next time.
Oh, okay. I know there was one comment we got about the Jack family, and they said that we said they were in wasn't Prince George, but they were just outside of Prince George. But minor geographical
Kenton,
correction.
Like this is important. Oh,
I missed the one about Justin Bieber. I have to look it up. Was it on?
I don't even know what it was on.
Okay.
I just saw it. Maybe the person retracted it, but I doubt it.
I'm thinking because I haven't put those shorts on TikTok yet. Must have been on Facebook or something.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
I'll look around. All right. So tonight's story, it was one that we talked about a few weeks ago, a few episodes ago. So actually probably a year ago now. We mentioned it in passing and said, we'll bring it back up later.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, well, we have to do it. So the episode we were talking about was the one about the Marysburg vortex.
What, a couple? Kenton, that's like, might even be close to 2 years ago.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, the third podcast we've ever done. Okay, go on, Kenton.
Okay.
A couple ago. That's the most egregious use of that phrase I've ever heard.
It might have been our third, actually. I think it was.
No, it was the third. I know. I know.
Okay. You said, could the reason the ship's been pulled into the lake
be bears?
Yeah, but before bears, you said maybe Ogopogo.
Ogopogo.
And I thought we should talk about Ogopogo.
Ogopogo.
So tonight's about Ogopogo.
Oh.
Ogopogo.
Ogopogo. Ogopogo. I don't know anything about Ogopogo other than I know the name of Ogopogo. What's cooler, Loch Ness Monster or Ogopogo? Probably Loch Ness Monster. Right? Who do you think will win a fight? Ogopogo is a cooler name.
It is a cool name. And we do talk about the origin of the name on this too.
Cool. Obviously, it sounds very First Nations.
It's not.
Really?
No, it's not. No.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm an idiot.
Who would win a fight? I'm not as familiar with Loch Ness as I am with Ogopogo now. I think Loch Ness is bigger, though. Ogopogo is big, but it's not like...
Loch Ness might just be whale penises. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
There's photos where people take photos of whale penises, and it looks exactly like some of the photos that people are like, I saw Loch Ness. It looks exactly like a whale penis surfacing. Look it up.
I haven't. Yeah, I'll have to look
Christina,
it up.
show a penis. Right here. That's what you're seeing. Now look at Loch Ness, okay? Penis. Loch Ness. Or penis. Go on, Kenton.
Okay.
Christina's going to be like, so much work. What the fuck?
So the story begins with the Syilx Okanagan Nation in the Okanagan region of Canada, which is in like the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia. Legend has it that there's a spirit of the lake. They call it Na-it-aka.
Na-it-aka.
I'm saying that wrong, but I try my best on that one. I've tried to break it down to syllables, so close enough, I'd say. It means like spirit of the lake or monster of the lake or snake of the lake, that kind of thing.
Snake of the lake.
Apparently, it lives near Rattlesnake Island on the lake.
Wow.
Yeah, cool place. Like that's like the place of a villain, right?
Yeah, or a place where you see whale penises. Sorry, go on, Kenton.
Okay. The description of the beast is a snake-like creature. They say it is an evil spirit with ill intent and wants to cause harm.
Okay.
Okay. But some people these days have kind of questioned that translation of the description of the creature because there has been the tendency of Europeans to take First Nations legends and make them into monsters. One example was in Saskatchewan, we have a lake here called Good Spirit Lake. For the longest time, it was called Devil's Lake because according to Europeans in the 1800s, a spirit couldn't be good. So if it was a spirit, a good spirit lake, well, it's an evil spirit. It's a devil's lake.
Right, called Ghostbusters.
Yeah. But now we've changed it. Now we know that not all spirits are evil. So Spirit Devil's Lake was then renamed as Good Spirit Lake. And they're thinking that this monster of Okanagan might just be, if it's a spirit, it could be a good spirit. But I don't subscribe to the spirit of the lake theory. So we're going to go with it being a physical entity of some kind.
Cool.
So there are petroglyphs, which are like carvings and drawings of this creature throughout the Okanagan Valley. So it's been around for centuries.
Petroglyphs. What is that?
It's like carvings or drawings.
On what, though?
On stone.
On stone?
Yeah. Think like maybe I've seen some things online of like them using berries to maybe draw on the stone artwork.
Oh, and like stains them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have some in northern Saskatchewan too of just like directions on the river and stuff like that
Cool.
they'd put up. So that kind of, so it's very old, right? So we don't have the exact year of when this story originated. They say this spirit has the ability to make the lake calm so you can cross it, or they make it a very stormy, rough, awful lake, and they can cause whirlpools to sink ships as well.
Interesting.
So one way they would appease this lake spirit is by giving it a living sacrifice. I think that might have been, whitewashed or whatever. It's probably just like a offering of fruit or berries, not necessarily a living sacrifice.
Yeah.
But the article I was reading, it was a newspaper article and it was quite sensationalized. It said that they would throw dogs off the cliff onto Snake Island and they would eat them. But I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah.
But it's what I read. I don't believe that one.
Yeah, that just sounds like the random like sailor just like, oh yeah, they throw dogs and then they eat them. Like, yeah,
It makes them sound like barbarians, right? And they're not
Yeah.
barbarians. They weren't barbarians.
people do that now. I'm like, oh, that's Dave. Oh man, he eats the heads off of bugs. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. So I put no weight on that claim.
Okay.
And I don't think it was living sacrifices. I think it was maybe just offerings of even maybe tobacco or something like that too. That's what they gave them. But I don't know for sure. A chief and his tribe came to visit. They came to visit and they were going to cross the lake. And the Seal Nation said, oh, before you cross the lake, you have to offer us an offering to the spirit. And the chief of this visiting tribe, Chief Tim Basket, said, no, we're not doing that.
No thanks.
Yeah, sorry. So they get in their canoe and they start heading across the water. And the story goes, then the water turned rough. And there were waves and they were crashing against the canoe. And then a whirlpool formed underneath it. And the whirlpool sucked them under the water. And killed them.
whoa.
Yeah. So that was a legend, right? But no date of when that happened, right? So modern times, 1855. A man named John McDougall is traveling through the area. He's
Why is there so many McDougalls
Lot-
back then?
lot
Like,
of
it seems like the McDougalls were like involved in everything.
maybe they're cursed or something.
Yeah, the McDougal curse is spread throughout the provinces.
He was a settler and he was taking his horses and his canoe through the area. And I guess there was like a shallow part of the lake he was crossing. Of course, he didn't know to offer an offering to the spirit. And as they were crossing, again, the water turned rough and the horses were jumping and squealing and some of them were crashing into the water. And he cut the rope of his canoe so his canoe was going to go down. And he got to the other side and some of the horses got back to the other side. But those who got to the other side, they had bite marks all over them.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, do you know how big?
No,
They didn't document that. Yeah.
sorry.
And sorry, when was that? That was
1855 or 1860, sometime around there.
Right. That makes sense then.
A couple years later, in 1872, Susan Allison, she's like a famous Canadian author from the time period. I don't know her work, but she was quite well known. She was visiting the area and she saw this creature in the water too. And she said it looked like a dinosaur.
Wow.
And this was, I read that and I was like, did they know about dinosaurs in 1872?
Yes.
And I looked it up, and yeah, they were a recent discovery. About 30 years earlier, they had kind of discovered what dinosaurs might be, right?
Yeah.
So it was new. And I could imagine people being like, any kind of large creature, that could be a dinosaur too. So I'm thinking that's maybe where the idea was first kind of put in, that it could be a dinosaur.
Around 1880s, 1890s, that's when like the gold rush of dinosaur bones happened.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody was like fucking around in Colorado and just like pulling everything out of the ground, and then people like racing basically, and there's thousands of dinosaurs that aren't even like categorized. They're just stored right now because they haven't even been able to go through them all yet.
Wow.
Still.
I could see then, this is a precursor to that rush that was coming up in 10 years or so. And we kind of talked about that before, about the dinosaur rush, and even the one like in Mongolia. I know that happened later. But I'm thinking, if they just discovered dinosaurs 30 years prior, it's already on people's minds, and I'm sure there was a rush coming. So, okay, that fits what I was thinking. Thank you.
I'm sure the Chinese have found many dinosaur bones.
Oh, yeah.
Like, their whole culture is dedicated around dragons. Like,
Yeah. And didn't they used to put them into,
yeah, they grind them up.
Yeah, yeah. Which, of course, we lost so many fossils because of that, but that happens.
It happens. They didn't know.
They did that too with Egyptian mummies. In England, they thought the mummies had some kind of magic power, so they'd grind them up and sell them and put them in food and stuff.
Always to get bigger boners.
It was actually, I think, something like that.
Yeah, the pursuit of all grinding up something and then eating it is just to get a bigger boner. Men. Science before the 20th century. Can this give me a bigger boner? Okay, I'm done. Go on.
Okay. In 1924, the English Savory Band, and they're going through the Okanagan Valley singing songs. There was Cumberland Clark and Mark Strong, and they had written a song from the perspective of an Englishman who was visiting India at the time, in a province called Hindustan. I think that's a real place. I don't know my provinces of India.
It might have been.
Yeah. Things have changed a lot since then too. He was visiting Hindustan and he saw this odd looking fellow in the song sitting on a rock, and he asked the fellow what he was doing, and the fellow said how he was looking for a creature to bring back to the mayor of London. He said that the mother was an earwig, which is like a little insect with pincers, and the father was a whale. And that this creature could play the banjo and would play the banjo for all the different animals of India, right? Like chimpanzees, baboons, lions, tigers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the national instrument, the banjo.
The banjo, right? And this creature that this person was looking for was called the Ogopogo. On the artwork of this, it shows this creature with the banjo. And it's kind of implied that the weird-looking man that the Englishmen found in Hindustan was the Ogopogo singing about himself. That was the whole thing.
That makes sense.
Right? There's a kind of funny little foxtrot song they had back then where it was like, oh, he's looking for the Ogopogo, but he is the Ogopogo. Anyway, they brought that song to the Okanagan Valley and sang it for the people, and they said, we love this song, and that's a great name for a monster. And that's where Ogopogo name came from, was from this little song.
Wow.
It was an English song about a Hindu banjo-playing monster. So, no Indigenous out there at all.
Wow.
I thought there would be one, but no.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the best... Wendigo is by far one of the coolest monsters, period. But I guess Ogopogo fucking plays banjo. Okay.
Well, the India version, version of it plays banjo. Yeah.
The Canadian version is going to be much cooler.
Now we'll talk about some of the sightings, and there have been a lot of sightings. So we might have to do this maybe rapid fire, just to kind of get through all of them. One of the sightings occurred in 1926, which was a couple years after the band passed through,
Right.
And the Ogopogo name had kind of started to take off. And this was 30 people who saw this thing in the water.
30 people. At the same time? Or 30 people that said, oh, I did see that thing today. Oh, I did see that thing today.
Simultaneously. At the
Simultaneously.
same time, yeah.
Wow.
So that was 1926. In 1930s, steamboats started being more common on the lake, and there was more concerns that, okay, if there's going to be vehicles on the lake, there's going to be more chances of the Ogopogo pulling them down into the water, like in the legend. And what happened to John McDougall in 1855 to 1860.
Imagine being the person that brings that up at the council meeting. Look, no one's bringing this up, but we have many more boats on the water, and no one's worried about Ogopogo pulling this down?
It's not sustainable to be putting out living sacrifices for every...
We're running out of sacrifices, people.
The steamboats started changing their advertising, and they'd say their boats have been specially equipped to prevent being sunk by the Ogopogo monster.
Wow.
Yeah. Anything to make a sale, right?
Ogo proof.
Ogopogo proof. Yeah, exactly. So that was what they were saying in the 30s.
No go pogo.
In 1947, I have a number of boaters, no exact number, said they saw something that was about 30 feet long. It had humps in the water and a forked tail at the end. And they saw it would dive and then come back up. And it was like kind of the vision of a Loch Ness monster with the humps. In 1959, the Martins and the Millers saw something with a blunt snake-like nose following their boat. Now people are kind of describing it not just as something under the water that pulls things, but it's more like a physical. 1978, there was a man named Bill Stetluck. He was crossing a bridge, and he was a skeptic his whole life. So he looked down onto the water, and he saw, again, about a 30-foot-long thing swimming. He screeched the car, stopped it, got out of the car to look over the edge. All the other cars, of course, behind him had to slam on their brakes. They all got out and look. There was about 30 people, again, who were on the edge of the bridge looking and seeing this thing swimming through the lake. Again, a huge group of people witnessing the same thing at the same time. In 1984, this story started making a lot of traffic, and I'll talk about why in a second. But Jacques Cousteau, the Canadian, I'm not sure how to describe him, animal nature preservationist, animal lover,
influencer
Jacques Cousteau, he wanted to investigate this monster too. He spent some time at the Okanagan and look around for it. He never did, but in 84 is when he expressed interest in it. In 86, Lloyd's of London was an insurance company in the Okanagan, and they put out a $1 million bounty on this creature. They say, if you can bring it, do not kill it, bring it to us, get it verified by the university, it has to be more than 20 feet long, alive.
Yeah. Oh, that's so easy.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring a 30-foot carnivorous, most likely, because it lives in the ocean, animal here. That would be great.
Yeah. $1 million, right?
Not even worth it. Maybe back then it's worth it. No, not even worth it.
Greenpeace heard about this and was saying, do not hunt this creature, just photograph it, do not disturb it. And they put it on their endangered animals list.
They haven't even seen the thing. You can't.
So that was in 86. In 1989, the BC Wildlife convinced the government to put in a bill that makes it illegal to hunt or to disturb the Ogopogo. So that in 2000, the Lloyd's of London insurance company increased the bounty to $2 million. So far, has not been claimed. Earlier, we talked about Bill Stedyuk and his witness of the beast on the bridge with those other people.
Right.
In 2004, I think it was, they were going to reenactment for a documentary and talk about what happened, trying to cover the different sightings they've had around the area. So what they did was they kind of, pretend to do it again. Someone was driving down the bridge, stand on the brakes, get out of the car. Other people get out of the cars to go look, right? Just to kind of reenact it, what happened.
And they saw it.
That's
not funny.
Yeah. And 14 people, they had their cameras and microphones. It was like an actual honest transcription and reaction to seeing the creature.
Wow.
There are about 5 to 10 sightings of it every year. Huh. Like there were 5 of them in the year 2000. One of them in the year 2000 was a close-up of the creature. I think some guy was out there swimming or on a boat or something. I read it, but I don't recall what it was. And the creature came up close to him, and he saw its eyes. And it said it had the eyes the size of a grapefruit. So, big boy.
Yeah.
Big thing.
I hate grapefruits.
But they're, not the best. Ugh. No. But you know the size of one.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's almost a really good fruit to throw at people.
Yes. Okay. I have found a website that kind of had listed all the different sightings, right? And of course, as it got more recent, there were more and more sightings, right? Of course, because there's more proper documentation, right? And that website ended in 2017. I was like, well, that was a while ago. Is there anything since then, right?
Yeah. Plus, there's like the phone technology now. It's
yeah. So I looked online to see what I could find, and there was a recent sighting. I'm sure there's been more recent ones. There's one from October, I think it was 19th, 2022. So a year and a bit ago. This was some people on a boat. They had their cell phones, and they saw something under the water, and I think it was the Ogopogo sleeping. I took a picture of it, and I saw the picture, and I thought, that must be like a statue of something. Someone made a statue of the Ogopogo and put it in the lake, right? I could see that, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, let's read the actual article, the news article, where they interview specialists, and maybe someone say, oh, that was this art installation from 19 whatever, right?
Yeah.
They said they weren't sure what it was. They thought it might have been a bird upside down or a fish. And I was like, looking at this thing, it has horns. It has a triangular face. It's not a bird. And I was reading, and I'm like, are we looking at the same picture here? So
that's so funny.
I don't know what it was. It's a great picture to look up online. It was, again, from October, I think, 19th, 2022, of some kind of creature they took a picture of. This was actually an actual clear shot of it, of its head, and I don't know what it was.
Spooky.
One of the prominent theories is that this is a very large sturgeon fish.
That makes sense. They get really big.
Yes, and they live a really long time. They live like 100 years. They have no natural predators. They're a prehistoric animal, right? They're the largest recorded sturgeon fish, and of course it's the largest. So this is the highest of the spectrum, right? Is 23 feet and 7 inches.
That's insane.
Right? It's huge. So yeah, that kind of fits the length.
Yeah, plus people's like estimations on sizes, like ridiculously horrible.
Oh yeah.
Like you could, if I saw a 23-foot sturgeon in the water, I would have said 30-foot Ogopogo.
100%.
You just solved it. Anyway, continue on, Kenton.
But the problem is that there are no sturgeons in Lake Okanagan.
Oh, wow, Kenton. Way to just pull the fucking carpet from underneath me.
There's a $10,000 reward for anyone who can catch a sturgeon in that lake. Not to prove it's the Ogopogo, just to prove that there's actually that fish in that lake. $10,000.
Just put one in there and then catch it.
Yeah, I was just thinking, well, that's an easy way to make $10,000. Problem solved. Catch him in the South Saskatchewan, drag him to the Okanagan, dump him in, catch him again. Poor fish.
Well, there's those Greenland sharks too. They live 300 years. They're crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
And then there's those infinite jellyfish. You hear about those?
Yeah, I have. I don't know them as good, but I know they don't die because they're.
Well, yeah, it's just they have the potential to live forever because, like, basically when they get stressed to a degree, or they lose any kind of like, let's say it loses an arm, something tries to eat it, and it gets stressed and it reproduces its cells, then it makes brand new cells. So potentially it could just keep on remaking brand new cells. But like, what are the odds of one jellyfish constantly getting near death and then regrowing all the time? Like, if jellyfish is not a hard thing to eat, if you're a fish, you might die from eating it, but it's not hard to go, dead.
Yeah, that's fair. Another theory of what it could be are otters, because otters often hold their hands when they swim in water together.
Oh, really?
So that could kind of show like the up and down of the otters. If you got maybe 5 or 6 otters together, you get about maybe 7 feet, 10 feet, and they're holding hands. They're not quite connected, so they're kind of moving around a bit. Otters is one of the theories. Another one could be a freshwater eel. Eels can grow up to be 10 feet long. And the thing about eels is, like with mammals, it's about a 49-51 gender split, right? But with eels, if there's less eels in an area, they're mostly more female to help with the population. So let's say there's only a handful of these creatures in this lake. There's going to be a lot of female eels in this lake. So that's one theory, is that they're a freshwater eel. Another theory, which I think you'll like this one, is that it could be a basilosaurus.
Basilosaurus.
I might got that wrong, but it's like the ones we have at the science center there, where they're like they have fins and a tail and like not like like a crocodile with fins, kind of.
Yeah, well, the one we have at
not science center
is the Mosasaurus.
Mosasaurus?
Yeah.
Okay. Could also be a plesiosaur.
I guess. Yeah, they have long necks though.
But that one sounds more like, to me, like a Loch Ness monster. Yeah. This one sounds more like a snake or an eel kind of thing, not like a dinosaur type thing. But here's kind of what the theory is. Lake Okanagan area was gouged out in the last ice age by glaciers, and it used to be connected to the ocean, but then when the sea levels changed, it ended up being cut off. So the idea here is it could have been from the ice, from the lowering sea levels, something like that, that these ocean creatures that were in the area at the time, the plesiosaurus and basilosaurus, I think that was pronounced, they were in the area at the time. They could have been in this area too, and it got landlocked, and they've spent millions of years in this lake. My first thought was, could this lake support a creature that size? I don't know, like, the diet of this thing, or how much it has to eat, but if it's big, it has to eat a lot, right? And I was thinking, okay, let's look at a similar creature, the Loch Ness monster, if that exists, and that's pretty well documented that something's in that lake. If it exists, is Loch Ness big enough? Well, that's our standard. Okay, if this big creature can live in Loch Ness, can Ogopogo live in Lake Okanagan? It turns out Lake Okanagan is about 6.2 times bigger than Loch Ness. So if this animal is smaller than the Loch Ness monster, it has about 6.2 plus space to roam around in.
So more likely.
Yes, it has much more space. Okay, much more space, much more to eat. Okay. In the 1990s, they actually spent 2-week-long hunt to try and find this monster, and they found some things that were potentially it. They found some like footprints in the ground underwater. They thought maybe it was like, I think it's the plesiosaurus has legs or something that it could crawl along the ground and kind of push off. Thought maybe those were footprints, but it could also be footprints from dinosaurs millions of years ago. It doesn't mean it's a fresh footprint. He also said they saw on the radar a big creature, but it was so deep underwater that the radar couldn't get its exact size. They also were looking around Rattlesnake Island, and they found lots of caves under the island, and from the caves were cold water rushing into the lake. So not rushing out down the cave, but rushing in to the lake. So the thought is, could these tunnels connect to underground glaciers, underground lakes, and they hypothesize perhaps a tunnel to the ocean. But some people have kind of questioned that because the ocean's about 300 kilometers away, quite a distance. But I mean, you could get river networks or something, right? So it could be that that's just the migratory area, and they have ways out of the lake. So they're not isolated to the single lake. My next thought was, every spring when the ice melts, our lovely Wascana Lake is filled with dead fish.
Right.
It's a really nice sight. The scores of dead fish along the banks of our lake. It's because it gets so cold that the ice freezes and there's not enough air, oxygen for the fish, and they die. Could a prehistoric monster from the ocean live in a lake that would freeze over? So I learned to look, and in the past 110 years, Lake Okanagan has only froze over 9 times.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
So it's 101 years it hasn't frozen over at all. So I guess when it has frozen over, it wasn't like super thick like what we have here.
Right.
So it's an environment that is relatively not freezing, that has water coming into and water going out of it, that's big enough to sustain the creature based on the Loch Ness mathematics I worked with. I would say, and the potential of those creatures were in the area back in the prehistoric days. And the last theory, which isn't nearly as fun as the dinosaur theory, is that underneath Lake Okanagan, and this has been verified, there are methane vents, and that they occasionally burp out methane gas, or more than burp, spew it out. And this can cause bubbling on the top of the lake, or can cause sudden changes of the lake. So maybe someone's looking at the lake and it's a flat, clear day, and then also there's some bubbles and like a little disturbance. Think, oh, that's the monster. Oh, it's just methane.
Yeah, and then maybe the light refracts on the bubbles and it makes it look like there's something there.
If it's bubbling big enough, there could be little waves, of a big enough turbulence. And that could be the same thing that happened to the Chieftain Basket when he was taking his canoe across the water.
Methane.
A methane burst or something like that. Awful timing, but, could happen. So those are the theories. Methane, dinosaur, otters, eel, or sturgeon, and anything else. What are your thoughts on the story?
Russian U-boat. No, I don't know.
Wow.
Who has the U-boat?
The Germans.
Germans, okay.
It was the other ocean, the other side of the continent.
No, what was that one short we did a long time ago? It was where they drilled the hole super deep to hell.
Yeah, that was in Russia. They drilled it down.
So what if, because for that one, it was that they drilled so deep that they heard sounds in water, right? It was like water tunnel kind of things.
Yeah, they heard the screams of the damned, they said. But yeah, I think there was some water. I can't remember how it went.
Yeah, and then it was like there was the theory that there might be like creatures swimming through deep underwater tunnels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what if there's just these sturgeon-like creatures that live deep underneath the Canadian crust in these tunnels that you can't see?
Yeah.
Because they're so goddamn deep and they're filled with water.
Yeah.
And then they just come up once in a while.
Yeah. There's no reason to... They had just... were doing some drilling in Antarctica, and they found an underwater lake filled with creatures that they didn't know existed, and they've lived without sunshine for millions of years. There's no reason why there can be an underwater lake in the Okanagan Valley where these creatures are living now, and occasionally one of them swims up through the crack into the main lake, and they see it. I think that's more likely than a dinosaur.
Yeah, well, I actually don't. It's just to think that one species of animal lived anything longer than few millions of years, like even humans max, although it keeps on getting further and farther, but like any sort of relative of human is like what, 5 million years or something. Yeah. Like, and it's not even close to like dinosaurs, which is 65 million to 350 million years. Like
you look like at sharks. Yeah, they're an old prehistoric species, but they've changed.
Yes, exactly.
Sturgeons have changed.
Yeah.
Birds and lizards came from the same ancestor as dinosaurs. They've changed.
Right.
To say the same thing has remained the same, even if it was the origins for a prehistoric monster, over the period of time, it's not that creature anymore.
Right.
It's evolved to a different species.
It's a current thing that evolved from it, like sturgeon.
Like a sturgeon, like a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It kind of also encompasses that dinosaur thing, but it's just like, just to say it's a dinosaur is just silly.
I would say that's from the time period of when they was first saw dinosaurs were big.
Yeah.
Like they're still big, but that was when they were like the new thing, right? So I could see that's kind of where it got ingrained into it.
Even the whole thing with the journey to the center of the earth and there being dinosaurs in the center of the earth, they wouldn't be dinosaurs anymore. They would be something completely different that evolved from the dinosaurs.
Even if the world had stayed the same, without the meteor impact and without climate adjusting, if it was the same, the animals would still have changed.
Right.
They wouldn't have stayed exactly the same.
Might not have been humans.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. The dinosaurs would have evolved to a different kind of creature, like a lizard person or something like that. If I was to put my money down on things, I'd say it's a mix of the methane and maybe the otters and imagination.
Imagination.
You have a story, you have a funny name. It's a whole phenomenon of the Okanagan. They have Ogie's ice cream. They have Ogie's B&B. It's a marketing thing now.
Marketing.
You have that ingrained that there's going to be something in the lake. You see something in the lake, that's it. It's a monster.
Yeah. No, you could make anything happen with your brain if you believe it hard enough.
I've heard some people make claims that the Ogopogo can walk on land with its flippers and that it can lay babies and that they found nests. But the thing is, there's a lot of animals around the Okanagan that can lay nests or just lay down.
That person seems unstable.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When you invest your entire life in chasing a mythical monster, you're trying to find any kind of validation. So I think imagination, marketing, otters, and gas. What do you think it was? What do you think it is?
I think if I was to put percentage, 40% of me thinks it's something like a sturgeon, because there's lots of animals like that, like anacondas, for example.
Yep.
They live till they get big till they die.
Yep.
And this 60% is like that methane kind of makes sense. So why not? And then just the
shock of seeing it. I think, could this be some kind of...
It could even be a different fish.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a sturgeon. It could just be a fish that got to 20 feet.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy shit, that's a 30-foot fish.
Yep. Exactly.
Done.
Okay. And in some of the other stories we've had, there have been some form of tangible evidence.
Right.
Like with the Wendigo stories, we had the people who killed them. They had put them on trial. We had the witnesses who killed other people who were apparently Wendigos. With the witches story, we had the trial with the cage, the gibbet. I couldn't remember the word in a couple episodes ago. It was the gibbet.
Gibbet. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
We've had witnesses who've seen ghosts, who've seen paranormal activity. This one, there's nothing clear. The clearest thing we have is a picture from 2022 that I'm not sure of. I think it's without proper evidence. I'm not asking for like what the Lloyds of London wants is like a living creature with a $10,000 with $1,000 or $1 million report.
Yeah.
But they don't have anything. They have a whole bunch of bad photos, some questionable videos, and one new picture that came out in 2022, which hasn't been validated or non-validated. That's not enough to say. So I'm going to say it's nothing. I thought you were going to go with aquatic bears again.
Kenton.
I was like, because I promised you a bear video. I was like, he's going to do it. He's going to bring in aquatic bears.
You said this one was going to be fucking bears.
I thought you were going to bring bears
Kenton,
into it. So
look, I want it to be bears just as much as the next person, but how?
I thought you were going to go that way with this one.
Look, Kenton, this one had dinosaurs. And if there's one thing I like more than bears, it's dinosaurs.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for another episode of Unsolved Canadian Mysteries and for supporting our Patreon. Please let us know in the comments what you think this monster of the Okanagan Valley and Okanagan Lake is. My name is Kenton DeYoung. I'm sitting here with my co-host, Dylan Fairman.
And that's his phone.
This has been another episode of Unsolved Canadian Mysteries.